Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So before we get into this, I just want to let you know there are people in the house next door chopping down trees, and there's construction going on 2 lots down where they're building not one but 2 houses. So it's been pretty noisy around here for the past week or so. It shouldn't be too much of an issue. Most of the outside sound isn't picked up on this camera, but just in case there's something going on that I can't edit out later, that's what it is. I'm so sorry. So Ireland has a pretty rich history dating back thousands of years, and with a history that long often comes hauntings. Ireland is full of them, but today we're looking at one that's not quite as well known as, say, some of its castles. But it has also been called one of the most haunted houses in Northern Ireland. Let's talk about Cumber House. Cumber House is located in Claudy, a village in the county of Derry, also known as Londonderry, in Northern Ireland, aka the part of Ireland that is part of the United Kingdom. In 2011, the population of Claudy was 1,340, so it's extremely small. The stereotype about small towns is that they're usually quiet and not a lot goes on there. As someone who has lived in small towns most of my life, I can say that that stereotype is usually true. And that does largely seem to be the case for Claudy, though the county of Derry itself has quite the reputation. Derry has been called the world's best Halloween destination and boasts a pretty large number of allegedly haunted places. Among these places are a road, a hotel, and an old convent. In a smaller townland called Derryork, farmers have reported their crops being destroyed by fairies. That's right, Tinkerbell is coming to destroy your crops. There's not a lot of easily accessible information on Cumber House. From what I could tell, it was built in the 1830s, and there's a cemetery on the ground, which might explain some of the paranormal activity. So here's the story behind the haunting. At one point, the house belonged to the Brown family. The patriarch of the family is never named in these stories, and actually neither is anyone else. So I'll call him Mr. Brown for the remainder of this video just for the sake of clarity. Mr. Brown was not very well liked by the people in town, and often took advantage of his position of wealth and power. After he died, a priest told the family's gardener that Mr. Brown was burning in hell. The Brown's son, who I guess I'll call Brown Jr., heard about this via the gardener and was so angry, he confronted the priest and held him up at gunpoint, screaming at him to prove his father was in hell. Obviously, this is a bit difficult to do. The priest began praying on his knees. At first, nothing seemed to happen, and the son grew agitated. I'm not sure why he didn't just kill him right there. He must have been very patient. Finally, the priest drew a circle on the floor, and Mr. Brown's ghost appeared engulfed in flames, seemingly confirming the rumor that he was in hell. The priest managed to escape the clutches of Brown Jr. and never returned to the house. Mr. Brown continued to haunt the house for a while until his spirit was banished by another priest. Strangely, his spirit was banished into a tree on the property. I assume because that's the first thing the priest could find in the moment. Today, visitors report hearing knocking and scraping sounds from inside the tree. Other rumors include a woman on the front steps, lights going on and off, gusts of wind, objects moving on their own, and appliances turning on and off by themselves. I couldn't find many specific stories of hauntings at Cumber House on things like social media or forums, but there have been a decent number of paranormal investigations in the house. One group that's held at least 2 of these investigations is called Supernatural Activities. Their website details an investigation they held on the 11th and 12th of July in 2015. According to their website, Supernatural Activities is an exceptional company that uniquely blends corporate eventing with a highly skilled and professional psychic medium dedicated in providing a variety of paranormal, mystical, and mythical tours, events, and activities. This investigation was comprised of both laymen and those who professed to be psychic mediums, as well as some skeptics and people who had never experienced the paranormal. There was a seance held at the house, and according to Supernatural Activities website, some of the group members during that seance made contact with their dead loved ones. They also claimed to be visited by someone named Thomas Leckie, who said he was a distant relative, I assume of the Brown family, and that he'd visited Cumber House before. Another seance visitor was Colonel Francis Brown, who told them all about the medals he'd earned while serving in India. Other ghosts that reportedly made contact that night were a 13-year-old girl and a little boy named Joe. Cumber House is the only place listed on their website that goes into details about an investigation there. That one in 2015 is the only one listed, but I did find other information about another investigation by the same group in July of 2017. In an article that month in the Belfast Telegraph, Fiona Stewart Williams, who works with Supernatural Activities, said she'd been in the house multiple times and considered it one of the most haunted houses in Northern Ireland. In the article, another woman named Katie Carlisle, who also works with Supernatural Activities, detailed her paranormal experiences in the house. 2 years ago at Halloween, I was working for an event at Cumber House on my own, late in the evening. I was making my way up from the basement and reached the foot of the stairs near the very famous tower room, and from the room behind me, I heard a loud noise. Of course, I had to go and look, and the Hoover had just gone on. There was no one in the room with me, and I had been in the house for several hours on my own, so that was a bit strange. Another time, when I was with several other people, a large gym ball started rolling by itself, even though there wasn't a breeze or any wind. So a vacuum cleaner coming on by itself and a gym ball moving on its own. Maybe the Cumber House ghosts like to clean and work out. If so, I would love it if they could come to my house and vacuum, because I really hate vacuuming. There have been a few other investigations by different groups. One of the most prominent that seem to have the most investigations or footage there is called Life After Life TV Productions. They have an entire playlist of their investigations on their YouTube channel, and some of them are close to 3 hours long. I will leave a link to that playlist below if you want to check it out for yourself. By the way, in one of their investigation videos, I heard in the background what sounded like stomping around. I'm not sure if it was something supernatural or if it was just other people in the house. Today, Cumber House is owned by the Derry City Council, and you can rent it out for events. If you've ever been to Cumber House or any other haunted places in or around Derry, I would love to know about them in the comments. Unfortunately, the closest I've ever been to Ireland is flying over it in 2015 on my way to London, but the greenery was beautiful. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and share it, and for more dark content, I hope that you'll consider subscribing and hitting that bell. Thank you so much for watching, and have a creepy day. Bye guys. Derry has been called the world... From what I could find, it was built in the 1830s, and from what I could tell, it was built in the 1830s, and there's also a cemetery. Heard about this via the gardener and was so angry, he would confront. Their website details an investigation they held on the... This investigation was comprised of... And there's another truck. They held a seance at the house. Okay, I don't care about that. I do, but not right now. If you've ever been to Cumber House or any other place... And there's the construction again.